Hi guys, and welcome to the Lonely Catch Up. It's myself, Rampant FM, and I'm going to basically take you through the South Challenge Cup action from the weekend. We did have a bit of a weather watch in this one. Gretna, Camelin, Newton Grange Star Civil Service Rollers and Lothian Thistle Hutchie Vale versus Cumbernauld Colts were called off due to waterlogged pitches. It can happen at this level, I think everyone knows that, so it's only 5 games to cover today. We'll start with Shire versus Kelty Hearts, the All-Lowland League affair. So the big news was obviously the fact that manager Tam Courts tendered his resignation, which was reluctantly accepted by the club a couple of days before the game. So obviously a big loss for Kelty to lose their manager just before the game. So it's hard to say if it really affected them because they are still a decent team, but obviously it's not an ideal situation, and you know it's a bit of a shock, I think, but we do wish Tam all the very best and whatever he plans on doing next, certainly. But in terms of the game, Kelty did go 1-0 up with a Kieran Chalmers header from in fairness, a Jamie Barclay mistake. It may have been cleared off the line. Certainly the ref gave it. The linesman didn't really signal anything, so maybe Shire were a wee bit hard done by there. The second half, Paul McCafferty found space in between the Kelty defence to equalise from a Stephen Brisbane pass. Really decent move actually, a goal line scrummish basically, with Andy Rogers putting Shire 2-1 ahead with the tap in. The third came with a ball in to the Kelty box. Unfortunately, Kelty defender Murray Carstairs slipped, which allowed Andy Rogers to bag his second of the game. And finally, Adam Murray attempted a header back to Jamie Barclay, which allowed Stuart Cargill to slide in for Kelty's second. So basically 3-2. And yeah, from all accounts, I think Shire completely deserved the victory. As I said, it's tough to lose your manager before a game, I think. Certainly a shock to many people. In terms of the news, Barry Ferguson, the former Rangers and Scotland international, has been linked to the job. But we'll keep you updated when we do have news of that one. But certainly well deserved from Shire. I think when I went to the league game earlier in the season, they were well beaten by Kelty, so a huge improvement. It was a game full of passion, commitment, an old-fashioned sort of cup tie, a lot of tackles. I think some players might have been off. In fairness, certainly Nico Gibson's tackle was a bit strong, but at the end of the day, I think there's no complaints that Shire won that one. Getting into our second game, Leaf Athletic versus East Kilbride. A goal in 3 minutes. Liam Craig delivered, the Leaf goalkeeper parried it, and Craig Malcolm smashes it home to make it 1-0 East Kilbride. There wasn't much reporting in the game from what I've seen. Ross McNeil in the 87th minute, he went through to the Leaf defence and won the penalty, and Craig Malcolm for his second stepped up and smashed it home again for 2-0 East Kilbride. Unfortunately, East Kilbride did go down to 10 men. BG Coyle, from what I've heard, a very soft second booking, especially towards the end of the game, so they did complete the game with 10 men. Other news, obviously, other big news, especially for East Kilbride, is that Brian Kerr has left to become the assistant manager at Partick Thistle under Gary Caldwell. So we'll keep you updated on that also, what's going to happen with them. Obviously, it's a bit weird, obviously, two sort of teams going for the title, losing their managers, halfway through the season. It's not ideal, so it'll be interesting to see where Kelty and East Kilbride end up and who basically is the replacements. We'll obviously keep you updated on any news we have in terms of new appointments and whatnot. Getting into our third game, it was Edinburgh Uni versus Edinburgh United. Somewhat of a derby, obviously, both Edinburgh teams. It was a goal. It's from a Luke Murray cross, and it was met the head by Aidan Kemp. United did appeal for the offside, but it was waved away by the referee. From what I heard, there was little to note in the second half. Possibly Uni taking the foot off the gas, getting a wee bit complacent, but they're through to the next round nonetheless. I think they need to possibly look at that. I think that will probably be worrying. Certainly Edinburgh Uni will be looking to improve on that side of the game, make sure that doesn't happen against tougher opposition, but certainly Edinburgh United, in fairness to them, it didn't sound like they're no mugs basically. The same with Leaf against East Kilbride. It sounded like they did give tougher opposition a game. Getting into University of Stirling versus Tynecastle. University of Stirling won 3-1. They did have to grind out the victory. From what I heard, it should have been more comfortable. They did squander a lot of chances. Lewis Bonner put Uni ahead early on. Tynecastle got the equaliser from a corner. The cross was floated in to a Tynecastle player with a scissor kick. He didn't get the connection he wanted on it, but it was enough to put it past the Stirling Uni keeper. What a sight that would have been, to be honest. Lewis Hunter made it 2-1, and Lewis Bonner sealed it with his second, and Uni's third with a header from a corner. We do have a bit of reaction from goalscorer Lewis Bonner and manager Chris Geddes.
So joined by Lewis Bonner, a brace today, could have been more.
Certainly could have, yeah. We did squander some chances there. It was a frustrating game, but I suppose we got the job done in the end. But we need to take chances like that in the future, because that's going to kill us going forward if we squander them against better teams. So yeah, we got that in the end though.
Talk us through the goals. The first one was a bit of a gift for you, wasn't it? But
no, definitely, yeah. I mean, they were trying to play from the back, fair play to them, but we managed to press on a couple of occasions, but not good enough. But when we did, obviously we caused them problems, and that was a result of that. We managed to get in on it. Lucky finish. Didn't come off as clean as I liked, but I suppose it went in, so can't grumble.
And the second one from the set piece, fantastic header.
Yeah, no, it was good. Yeah, good ball from Josh. I told him when I wanted it, and he delivered. So lucky, I think the ball in the post made a hash it, I think, but I'm glad it went in now. It's good.
And you'll be pleased to be back now playing regularly, because you've had a little spell out on the sidelines.
I'm struggling with injuries. We've got a bad ankle it's been a recurring injury I've had for years, so it's just one of the ones where you be careful. I've constantly got it strapped, but yeah, no, it feels better now. So hopefully we've got a big run of games coming up. Obviously, Uni game on Wednesday, and then we've got a big Scottish Cup tie next week, as you well know. So hopefully stay fit for the week, and then get a good run of games going. So hopefully some more goals.
Fantastic, thanks.
Good man, thank you. Cheers, mate.
Right, Chris, you've progressed in the South Challenge Cup, but it was made hard work.
Yep, I think that was a proper game, a case of if you don't take your chances, the other team stay in the game, and ultimately that's what happened. We should have been 2-3-0 up at half time. After half time we should have scored straight after half time. Then fair play to Tynecastle, they broke down the left, down the right, a good cross and a good finish, 1-1, and then after that we took charge again. But if you don't take your chances, you don't win games.
Talk us through the three goals. First one, Lewis Bonner.
Yep, Tynecastle, very tidy team, play out from the back. We pressed high, we won the ball. A mistake from them. Kieran slipped it to Lewis and he put it in the bottom corner for 1. The second goal, it's a shot from Craig Brown on the edge of the box, and Lewis Hunter's followed it in. The keeper's made a save, but then Lewis has battled the keeper to tap it over the line for 2-0. Great commitment from the captain. And then the third one's a great driven corner from Josh, and Lewis has got up like a salmon and he's put it right in the bottom corner. So an excellent finish, and 2 goals on his return is good as well, because he's been out for a few weeks.
But there was a spell where it looked like you were inviting them into the game, and they could have nicked something at the end. Oh,
definitely. When it was 1-1, they could have done anything. They've got some dangerous players, a lot of young players in their team, and obviously with us playing the game on Wednesday, some heavy legs showed there, and also 2 of our boys playing their first game in a month from injuries. So it was a leggy affair with the park as well, but obviously delighted to get the win.
And a big game in the Scottish Cup next week.
Yep, Devon Vale in the second round, so that's a massive game. But obviously we've got a game on Wednesday, we go to Birmingham, so we concentrate on that and then full focus on the Scottish Cup.
Thanks, Chris.
No problem.
We obviously want to thank David Chandler for his contributions to the show, not just this week but certainly throughout. He's been very supportive, and we're hoping to maybe get him on to one of the episodes to maybe talk a wee bit more about Stirling Uni, and that would obviously be fantastic. We're obviously going to try and do that, but it's obviously when David Chandler's available and when it's the best time and whatnot. But we'll obviously keep in touch with David, but we just want to thank him for his continuous contributions to the show. It's really appreciated. So further, our 5th and final game, BSC Glasgow versus a former Lowland League team, Threave Rovers. We have it was basically a rout. BSC Glasgow won 7-1. David Winters got a hat-trick. Spencer Brown, Martin Grean and Ross Smith with an own goal as well. BSC I think they were always going to be favourites against Freve. Freve have struggled, I think, in fairness. I think it's fair to say, since they've left the Lowland League, obviously, they were in contention to get promoted against Kelty, but obviously Kelty, beat them 10-0 on aggregate. And I think they are struggling a wee bit in the South of Scotland League. I think they're 5th or 6th in the league, so it was always going to be hard for them, let's put it that way. But what a performance from BSC Glasgow. I think it's good in terms, because obviously we've spoke about all the injuries they've had, all the things that they're sort of going through at the moment. So it's a morale boosting win and they're through to the next round, obviously. So it's fantastic from a BSC Glasgow point of view. I think it was always, as I said, I think it's always going to be tough for Freve coming up against BSC that look like they're sticking together. Despite all the issues at the club, with injuries and whatnot. Getting into the weekend's action, we do have one Lowland League game. We have Dalbeattie Star versus Edinburgh University. I think Dalbeattie Star will need to look to win that, especially being at Islecroft Stadium. They've not been doing too well at the moment, especially having created chances. It was always going to be tough for them this season, but this is a match that I think they'll feel that they can win, certainly, especially being at home. Edinburgh Uni, they're one of the teams that you think they can get results elsewhere. We've obviously talked about it in terms of Whitehill and whatnot. Edinburgh Uni seem like one of them teams that can go out and get results, where I think, in fairness, I think like Whitehill and Dalbeattie might struggle, so they definitely, I think, need a win there to sort of put pressure on the teams above them, Dalbeattie. So it'll be an interesting one, and we'll obviously keep you updated on what's happening there. Getting into the Scottish Cup games, Cumbernauld Colts versus BSC Glasgow. I did see the both teams recently in the league game. I thought BSC were the better team. Cumbernauld Colts been in a bit of a slump lately. They've been grinding out results, in fairness to them. It'll be interesting to see how BSC cope being at Broadwood, obviously with the wider pitch. We've seen teams like Kelty obviously struggle a wee bit going to Broadwood with a wider pitch, and Colts, as I say, are grinding out results. But BSC coming off that fantastic win against Freve, they'll have a massive morale boost. Obviously Colts not played, so that could hamper them as well. It's certainly going to be an interesting one. Edisport versus Fraserburgh. Obviously Edisport are at home and Fraserburgh have to come down to Gallowbank, so certainly an advantage to Edisport. It's a tough one because Edisport have not been on the greatest form lately. They've kind of sort of slipped out where they were, but as I say, it's a cup game. They certainly could. They will be looking for a result there. Elgin City versus Whitehill Welfare. I think it's going to be tough for Whitehill, but as I say, it's a tough. It's a cup game. Certainly. Elgin, Whitehill having to go up to Elgin's, we've talked about the travel and whatnot. I think it does make it tougher having to travel up north and all that sort of stuff. But it would be awesome to see Whitehill get a result against Elgin. I mean, it's probably not likely, in my opinion, but certainly you never know. Scottish Cup, absolute magic competition, so. Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. East Kilbride versus Spartans. They love playing each other, and we've said it before. It'll be interesting because obviously Brian Kerr's left East Kilbride, and Spartans, they're going to be up there in terms of teams, the champions of the Lowland League currently. So they'll be looking to go to K Park full of confidence, looking to avenge that loss against Gala as well, and East Kilbride obviously. They'll be hoping to maintain where they are in terms of league pride as well as cup competitions and stuff, because they have been put out of a couple of cup competitions already. So certainly an interesting game in terms of teams that are highly rated in the Lowland League. It's a big one against Edinburgh City versus Civil Service Strollers. Obviously Gary Jardine makes his return to Edinburgh City, a team that obviously won the Lowland League with. Obviously, coming off that loss against Kelty and the unlucky defeat against Shire as well. So it's going to be hard for civil service rulers. Edinburgh City, obviously doing so well in League Two. It'll be a cracking match. I think it's probably one that's going to be up there in terms of the fixtures at the weekend. Devon Vale versus University of Stirling. It's anyone's guesses. Obviously, it's tough, as I said, the travel and whatnot. But University of Stirling, they've been better off late. I think certainly they're a tough team to break down. I think the one worry is that they obviously squandered a lot of chances against Tynecastle, and they probably have to be more on their game, especially away to Devon Vale. But certainly, I think University of Stirling could perhaps get a result there. Peterhead versus Kelty Hearts. We've obviously mentioned the travel. Kelty go up to Peterhead. Bit of a travel, but Kelty, I think people need to remember they're still a good team. They're still a fantastic club. Still highly ambitious. It'll be a good. It'll be good to see what they do in that game. I think how they play against them, how they compete. It certainly will be a meter on where they are currently certainly as a squad against a tough Peterhead team. Berwick Rangers versus Gretna 2008. Gretna have been on fantastic form lately. Obviously, they recently lost to Kelty, but before that they were doing really well. And obviously there was a bit of contention whether or not they should have been down to 10 men against Kelty, but they certainly gave them a game, and I certainly believe they will give Berwick Rangers a game. It will be tough, certainly. Berwick Rangers currently struggling a wee bit in League Two, I think it's fair to say. Gretna have every opportunity to go out there and get the win against Berwick, and it's not exactly far to travel for them, unlike some other ties that they play as well. So Gretna will certainly be up for that game, 100%, and I do feel they could maybe get a result against Berwick. For our last game, it's Gallagher versus East Stirlingshire, an all Lowland League tie again. It's tough to call this one because Shire have obviously started picking up wins now. Gala, they're all coming off that win against Spartans. It's I don't want to put my name out there and try and call this because both teams are looking really good, looking like they've improved certainly. So it's anyone's guess of what's going to happen there, but I certainly believe it will be one of the top ties of the weekend. So that is pretty much it, guys. As I say, it's a quick one today. It's just myself going through the South Challenge Cup. So hopefully you enjoyed it. We want to thank everyone that's, the fans, the clubs, everyone that really gets involved in the show. Obviously, we want to thank Michael Park and George Fraser and everyone that's listened. I appreciate it. We'll be back covering the Scottish Cup and Dalby versus Edinburgh Uni. So we will, we'll see you next week. See you soon.